Evening, I'm Dan Wolf. Laura has the night off. Thanks for joining us. After nearly a month, Pine County authorities say they found the remains of a missing 86-year-old man. Gerald Knapp went missing on January 28th from his home in Askov. His family says he suffered from dementia. His body was found this week in the Nemadji forest. Now, the family says they are grateful to the person who found him, a total stranger who happens to be a retired police officer. Northern News Now's Jack Wiedner talked to him today, as well as the family, and shares how emotional these past few weeks have been.
For Debbie O'Connor, words can't describe the moment she learned her father's body had been found.
The instantaneous reaction was, thank God, and in a microsecond, shattered on the floor.
Debbie's father, Gerald Knapp, went missing on January 28th near the Nemadji State Forest. Authorities discovered the 86-year-old's car not far from where he went missing. From then on, that area was the focus of the search. Many families and friends walking on foot, looking for clues as to what happened. Hundreds of miles away in Stillwater, Minnesota, Earl Bakke took notice.
One of the social media groups that I follow was doing some frequent posting or reposting of Mr. Knapp.
Bakke, a retired police officer, runs a small business operating drones. He offered his services for free to help search for Gerald Knapp.
So I just reached out to the sheriff and say, hey, I have this technology. I don't know if you've used it, but I'm available if you'd like to talk.
Bakke captured thousands of photos on his drones, then ran the images through a special software. 56 of those photos were flagged as having signs of Gerald's red and blue jacket. On number 51, Bakke found a match.
And at that point, I reached out to the Pine County Sheriff's Office, and they confirmed what I was believing.
Gerald's family says they're beyond thankful for Bakke's help.
Finding him will allow us to have closure and go through the normal grieving process.
After weeks of searching, Gerald's family says they can finally begin to heal. And they owe it all to a stranger.
He drove 2.5 hours here, not knowing any of us, to just help. And within an hour and a half, he found my dad.
In Duluth, Jack Wiedner, Northern News Now.
And that technology used by Earl Bakke is fairly new. He says he's also assisted in the search for other missing people, including that case of Madeline Kingsbury, who went missing in Winona. He hopes more law enforcement agencies incorporate that software in their search efforts.